Now, when I made my YouTube channel, people thought, like, you know, they think people are how they perceive them to be, and they compare them to themselves. They always say, well, I know what I would do in that situation. So they would assume the other person is the same way. I didn't do this for money. So people wonder why I just don't toe the line. Just make puff pieces. Kissing up to everybody. And you would be great. Like, I've had some people that's the higher ups were telling me, like, this is why so-and-so doesn't talk to you the way he used to. Because you're controversial. You know, it's just, you know, you just gotta be, you see, you're too caught up with the negativity. You gotta talk about some of the positive things, you know. You're too focused on the negative. You gotta brighten things up. And see, I'm like, I can't sit back and get paid for doing something without telling people the truth. I like to tell the truth. I sleep better at night. It's not that we're like somebody's lying. I'm just saying I like to get it all off my mind. So it's nothing to even worry about. We already got it out there. Rest of the world are kind of in the dark. They don't really know too much. So I take those risks to lose my channel, have it stripped down. I take those chances every time. I've taken them many nights where a video was very close to getting me removed. I got to fight with YouTube. I got to fight with other big name companies, whether it's Fox, CBS, and I fight them. And these are the things y'all don't know about. But I take these risks because I would rather the information be out there so the public would know it. Because I feel it wasn't something that they that they shouldn't know. Okay. Alright. You know, and the things I say are not too favorable to those people that you may like. So you're going to defend them. And that's fine. People have to learn to accept other people's criticism of other things. People use constructive criticism. People don't even know what that means. They don't even know how to accept it. So I get it. I don't get mad. I just tell it like it is so I can sleep at night. And with that said, these are my own personal views as to why Aaron Rodgers is not playing well in the NFL today. This is my opinion of what's wrong with Aaron Rodgers. Now, when Aaron Rodgers came in for Brett Favre, a lot of people were not excited about Aaron Rodgers coming in to play the game. A lot of the Packer fans didn't like the fact that Aaron Rodgers was going to be the starter immediately without it being a backup quarterback because Aaron Rodgers was injury prone. Every time they let him come in for Brett Favre, he ended up getting hurt. He would break an arm or break a leg. He'll come in for like 2 plays and would get injured. So he wasn't looked at as a durable quarterback. So people were wondering, like, why in the world are we bringing in Aaron Rodgers as our starter and we're not looking at other people? So when his 2008 season came about and he actually did okay, he was subpar that year, but he still threw for a lot of yardage and still had 28 touchdowns. He had a lot of interceptions. He was able to shave his interceptions down and maintain 100+ rating, not to mention his extraordinary 2011 season in which he had a quarterback rating of 122 with 45 touchdowns that year. Then he came back with 39 touchdowns. That's when they thought Aaron Rodgers was the most explosive thing they've ever seen. He was told, people were saying he's better than Brett Favre. and how many Super Bowls are they going to win. But they've only been to one Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. One Super Bowl. And he collapsed when they needed him the most in 2014. A year where he had his fewest amount of interceptions, had 38 touchdowns, but he choked when they needed him most against Seattle. They just choked the game when everyone thought they were in the Super Bowl. They blew it. And ever since that game, where they folded, things have been falling apart for Aaron Rodgers. Now, people want to understand, like, what happened, or what do I mean? What was going on? Because, you know, the players that were on the Green Bay Packers, the majority of them were told, you know, this is how things work in Green Bay. They see how things are. It's about the quarterback. And whenever they make spectacular plays or go out and make great moves and catch the ball, the accolades all go to what Aaron Rodgers did to get them the ball. And Aaron is so great. But when something don't work, or Aaron make bad throws, or he throws interceptions, he doesn't have anybody. So it's never Aaron Rodgers' fault. He can't be blamed for anything. And he doesn't take onus to it. And he's very arrogant. And this is what's rubbing players the wrong way. Now, this is what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. Since people was like, it's off the field. I agree it's off the field. All his problems are mental with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is very, very meticulously irritated by small little things that normal men don't care about. He cares that people look at him as tall and don't tell him that he looks short for his height. It irritates him and bothers him. And in 2013, it was an enormous, big explosion as to what happened with Aaron Rodgers when he and his roommate and business manager at one time, Kevin, who was his right-hand man, also came out and stated that Aaron Rodgers was in the closet and they had been lovers. A statement that was made by him that was eventually taken care of, removed, but you can't really remove things from social media. They have a way of rearing their ugly heads back up. And people was like, what? Then you had, at the same time, the reason why the infighting was going on, and people didn't even understand it, was Aaron Rodgers' relationship with the Milwaukee Brewers player Ryan Braun. They were very close. They spent a lot of time together. And the Kevin guy became jealous of what was going on with Aaron and Ryan Braun, which led people to suspect that those two were a little bit more than friends. And the press started making big deals of it. Those two went into a restaurant together. And once Ryan Braun got caught doing steroids, Aaron Rodgers was betrayed because he felt he lied to me, to my face. And it's just, it just hurt me so much that my friend lied to me. But press clippings are starting to come out where people are scratching their heads and looking at them as a couple more than just friends. Like, something's weird going on with Ryan Braun and Aaron Rodgers. It's more than just we're business partners and friends. It was a little bit weird. So what happened is Ryan Braun decides, I need to get married. So he goes and marries Larissa Fraser, a Canadian model. And I've told you about athletes and the modeling system. Okay, so we understand that. A Canadian model who basically plays her role, poses in lingerie, and plays her position. So there's no questions asked about Ryan Braun. She's going to have his babies. She's going to keep her mouth shut. And he can live any type of life that he wants. But Braun and Aaron Rodgers, who were best of friends, visited ball games, hung out at each other's houses, and spent a lot of time together. A lot of time together. The pressure was coming down on Aaron. The clock was running out. So now it was time for Aaron Rodgers to get hitched. Aaron goes against all of his family's beliefs, his trust, everything that they said, and goes ahead and starts dating. He goes out and does an interview first that almost crippled him. I love women, and the interview was so unbelievable. It was like no one would believe anything that he said. And the attention was on Aaron Rodgers' personal life more than his life on the field. And he had a girlfriend he was supposedly dating, some other model, that didn't get a lot of attention, and that wasn't going to work. So his agency did it where he can get hooked up with another known actress in Hollywood, Olivia Munn, where they can get introduced, and this agreement was made that Aaron and her would get married and be together and engaged, and they were each other's beards, allegedly. So what happened was, no one was real. Everybody was looking at it a little skeptical, even though now it's like, well, we could put this to bed. Aaron's with her. The internet wasn't really putting it to bed. And then the family didn't want this move to happen in the first place. They don't really know Olivia Munn that well. So if you don't really know Olivia Munn that well, and they don't really trust her around Aaron, Aaron had to defend his situation because he felt like some of the family members betrayed his trust, and he basically cut the family off and hadn't spoke to him since he's made this move because he felt like this situation with his former manager or whatever, and that certain family members were leaking things to the press about his personal life, which they weren't. His parents never did, and neither did his brother. So his concern over this and everything surrounding it, after he choked in December of 2014, when he decided to split from his family during the playoffs, and he with Olivia Munn, his play has plummeted. It has completely plummeted. Last year was a dismal season. Even though he had 31 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions, he had a passer completion ratio of 60.7 with a passer rating of 92.7. Now, I'm going to tell you inside of those numbers, everyone's going to say Jordy Nelson wasn't there. He missed Jordy. Because it's never Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's always Jordy wasn't there. So this is why Aaron is looking so bad. He has no one to throw it to. As if those other guys on the team, they don't know how to run a route and they don't know how to catch a football. They've never played before. They just got drafted in the NFL, but they don't know how to play. So what is Aaron supposed to do? Right? So he has miracle comeback victories, Hail Marys at the last minute, where he just chucks the ball in the air and someone catches it, and everybody forgets how terrible he played the entire season. Then when they get blown out in the playoffs and get destroyed and crushed, and people are like, wow, that's okay. We'll be back next year, and we got Jordy Nelson back. Now they got all the pieces they want. They got Lacey coming in shape. They got Jordy Nelson back. This is it. 2016, the return of the Packers. I knew. I said, he's done. And then Jordan Rodgers, his brother, comes out publicly and says, we don't really talk to Aaron Rodgers. He hasn't talked to the family in like 2 years. We don't really have a connection. And it shocked everybody because the rest of the world really didn't know what was going on between the two. He's returned Christmas gifts back to his mother and father. He has not been happy since this union with Olivia Munn. And I think the problem is more mental. This year is more obvious than all. He's missing passes. They say, well, they don't have an offensive line to protect Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has like one of the most highest times in the NFL. I mean, behind the pocket, he has like a good 4 seconds to 5 seconds to get rid of the ball. And he creates more time, and he still is missing passes. He's sailing the ball over people's heads. He's throwing the ball in the dirt. He's not. Before, he was threading the needle and getting those balls in there. Now, those balls are being intercepted. He's not reading the defense. Guys that's right there, they fooling him easy. This is mental. It has nothing to do with a physical ailment. This is a mental process of a guy who is unsure of himself on the field. In my whole estimation and in my own personal opinion, I think if he came out of the closet, he would be playing a lot better. He thinks it's the end-all, be-all of people judging him and looking at him, and it'll put him in an uncomfortable space. I just feel, in my own personal opinion only, that if he came out of the closet and opened up to what I think he truly is, he would play a lot better. It would be more like relief. And he can go back to playing the style of football that made him successful. So that's my thoughts. What do you guys think? I'm out.